Hi and welcome to Football Unmasked, the podcast that lifts the mask on football and takes a look at the reality of the game. I'm Daniel J. Harris and I'm joined by these two fine gentlemen. We've got Wales legend Rob Earnshaw and England legend Carlton Palmer. So gentlemen, for anyone that doesn't know you, whether they've been living under a rock for the last 40 years, tell us a little bit about yourself and your career, Carlton.
Well, I'm a little bit older than Earnie. I'm going to be 60 in December. Started my career at West Bromwich Albion. Made my name at Sheffield Wednesday, where I had 6 or 7 years there. And then went on to Leeds United and finished playing at Coventry and played 18 times for England.
Fantastic. Ernie?
Me, I was actually born in Zambia in Africa, but I moved to Wales when I was 9. Family was living there. Moved to Wales, grew up in Wales, and then later on become a football player, eligible for Wales, and I came through Cardiff City through their academy. I was the last one spotted into the academy, came through, spent 7 years at Cardiff, and then went on to West Brom, a bunch of other clubs, played in the Premier League, and then played international football in the end for Wales.
Fantastic. So thank you, gents, for coming here today and being a part of this podcast. I think we've got an exciting opportunity here. So this is a new podcast and we're bringing your knowledge of the game to the people at home. So we're going to be looking behind the mask of modern football and kind of talking about the things that are not being talked about elsewhere. I think we're kind of lifting that lid. So what do you guys think are the key elements of what we're going to cover? Kind of, I know we've talked about being insightful, we've talked about being authentic. Kind of, what do you want this podcast to be, Carlton?
Well, I think it's got to be real. I think a lot of podcasts or a lot of people in the media these days, they don't call it as it is. And I'm sure Rob and myself, we're not the type of people to come out and be controversial, but call it as it is. Like, you know, a lot of people have come out about Isak, and it's right that, you know, ex-footballers, ex-managers come out and say that his behaviour is unacceptable, and it's wrong. It shouldn't be condoned by agents or other footballers. So that's the idea. What we want to do is talk about footballing points that come up and give a real spin on it.
Fantastic. And Ernie, what do you want to bring to this?
Yeah, same, yeah. But also just to, you kind of want to talk about football, but talk about what we're all thinking. Do you know what I mean? Not kind of...
no fluff.
Yeah, no fluff, no kind of messing with it. You talk about football, you agree, disagree. We talk tactics, we talk all the discussions weekly, and then we'll discuss them where we think, what Carlton thinks, what I think, what you think, and put it on the table, you know, and say it as it is.
Straight talking.
Yeah. Straight
talking, gents.
Absolutely.
Cool, fantastic. So for those at home, just want to explain a little bit about the format. So 3 of us are going to get together. We're going to talk through some of the main points from this week in football. Then we're going to look ahead at a few games of the weekend. And these gentlemen are going to pick their teams, set their stalls out for certain teams and certain matches. Are going to kind of compete against each other, guessing who's going to be the winner, what the score is going to be, who's going to be man of the match, stuff like that. So there's a little bit of a competition element to it. And then at the end, we're going to sit back down again and we're going to have a little trip down memory lane and we're going to talk about these two gentlemen and their fantastic careers. So hopefully you guys at home are going to enjoy that. So we'll go straight into our first section and that's kind of topics of the week. So the main one, Liverpool lose 3 times in a week. Is it crisis time? Do you know what I mean? How do they get back on track? Ernie, what do you think?
It's crisis in terms of a couple of weeks ago, everybody just went and handed Liverpool the trophy. And as soon as the Isak transfer went through, everybody was like, here you go, here's the trophy. Over. It's finished. Everybody else just play for the rest. So in terms of like that way, yes, it's a little bit of a controversy. And also, listen, any team, any football team, when you are the champions, you've just made all of these signings in the summer, big money spent, and then all of a sudden you lose 3 games in a row. You're not expected to lose 3 games in a row. You're in a position where it's like, okay, this is not good enough because it's high standards.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's Arne Slot's got high standards. The players have got high standards. They're the champions. The reason why they're the champions because of those high standards. So in crisis in terms of that way, but at the same time, you know, they'll come back because it doesn't last too long. You don't go and then lose 5, 6, 7 in a row.
This is not a Man United style process. We're 10 years down the line, they're still fixing it.
Yeah.
You think it's a quick fix?
Yeah, it's a quick fix because they're good. Because they're good. I think the manager's too good. He understands it. He gets it. He'll know. Okay, this is where we've gone wrong. These last three games. This is where we need to tweak it. This is where we need to change a few things here. So I think he's going to know that. And also the players. The players are good enough. You look at their squad. You look at who they brought in. I think they're good enough.
Big money being spent. Are people expecting too much of some of these players too soon, or should £100 million plus players be hitting the ground running?
Listen, in football now, the way it is everybody expects immediate results straight away, and that doesn't happen. I think it's 11 years since Liverpool lost 4 games on the trot in all competitions. I don't believe that's going to happen, although the next game is against Manchester United.
Interesting. Man United would love that.
It's just one of those. It could end up being. We're here discussing next time they've lost 4 in a row.
They've lost 4 in a row.
That'd be a trophy for Man United, wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean?
But if you look at last season, I think what he's done, he's looked at last season and they just fell. They won the league and just fell short in the Champions League. Didn't have deep enough squad to do that. They ran out of legs and they were tired. So the assault this season is the league and the Champions League. Everybody's going crazy because they've lost 3 games in a row. They're 1 point behind Arsenal in second place, and with the international break coming up, he's changed the system somewhat. Which, if you're looking at them last season, they were defensively very strong. He's made them more attack-minded, which is going to take time for the players to get used to. In terms of they'll score more goals, but they're going to concede more. That's why I thought they would have got the gear transfer through, because he can deal with the one-on-ones like Van Dijk. Canati, I think, is a fantastic footballer. He's just had a slow start to the season. The left back they brought in, I mean, he was voted with, I forget the other player.
Yeah.
I think it
Kirkes,
was
isn't it? Kirkes
Kirkes. And the other lad they had, he was voted, the 2 of them were the best left backs in the Premier League last season. But they played in a system that was solid. And Liverpool are playing a more freestyling football. That's the way he wants to play, getting players forward so they score more goals. So it's going to take a bit of while, what's his name?
Ekiteke.
Right, I can never pronounce that one.
It's a tricky one.
He's hit the ground running. He's hit the ground
definitely.
running since he's come in, but he was one of the first to come into the football club. So I think, everybody's got to give him time to settle down, and when they settle down, there is going to be a major problem for the rest of the Premier League. I mean, Mo Salah, everybody's saying, oh, well, we shouldn't have given him another contract. Listen.
It's Mo Salah. You've got to keep him, haven't you?
Yeah, and also the change in style of what he's being asked to do now as attacking player, is going to take him time to adjust to as well. So rather than everybody hey, listen, give him a month or 2. Players came in late to Liverpool. They're probably not up to speed in terms of fitness. We know Isak's not. Give him a month and let's see how they're firing. I think they're going to have a tough ask this season, because I think Arsenal have got a really good balanced squad.
And what do you think about central defenders at Liverpool then? What if one of them gets an injury? Have they got any depth there? Is that where kind of Mark Gay would have come in and given them an extra option there? Like if Van Dijk or Canate are out for a couple of weeks, who fills in there?
I think it's a big mistake for them not to get this deal over the line. I mean, do you know, when you look at it now, they've tried to nick him. But if they'd have gone to Crystal Palace and said, right, listen, Mark Gears, I'll give you 50, 60 million quid for him. He's worth much more than that. They won't get him in the January transfer window because I'll tell you now, I'm 100% sure Mark Gear goes to Real Madrid or Barcelona, because he can sign a pre-contract to go there. They should have done the deal when they had the time to do the deal. And especially, okay, Canate, and I'm a big fan of Canate's, but he's not hit the season running well. And then you're looking at where do they go if they get any injuries. So they've not covered themselves in that. I mean, we know Robertson can go and play in there. We've got other players that can go and play.
Square peg round hole though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But I think Liverpool thought, a bit like the Isak deal, they left that to the last minute. I think they thought they could leave it to the last minute, which they did. Had the lad passed the medical who was going at Crystal Palace. He was going to Liverpool, but he failed the medical, and that's why Gears stayed at Liverpool, at Crystal Palace. But what we have to talk about is the way that Gears gone about being professional.
Yeah.
A lot of players would have been disappointed. He's made it clear he's not staying at Crystal Palace. He's under contract. He's gone on, he's trained, he's played in every game they played. Even the night he was supposed to go after the game at Aston Villa to go have his medical, he was man of the match and scored a goal.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Do you know what I mean, Rob?
Yeah.
And that's what we want from players.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's going to go in January, because I think Crystal Palace are going to be doing well in the league, and I think they could win the Europa Conference League. Do you know what I mean?
You think so?
I think they're a good side in that Europa Conference League.
They let him go on a free.
Well, I think if they're going to win a European trophy, they lock him down for another couple of years.
Well, but what I don't understand, Rob, you might know, I don't understand why Crystal Palace haven't gone to him and said, right, I'll tell you what, Mark, right, you've not gone, here's a new 3-year deal, and we'll give you a 70 million break clause.
Nice.
Does that make sense for everybody?
Do you know, it makes sense. I think that what Crystal Palace now are, and they've put themselves in this position. I'm the same. I don't understand why. They're a selling club.
Yeah.
They've become a selling club.
Absolutely.
So they've clearly, and Mark Gay's been around for a few years, so he's not brand new. All the clubs would have looked at him and seen him and thought, okay, we like him, we'll keep an eye on him. And I'm sure there's been approaches before. I was surprised that Liverpool waited till the last minute. Why do you wait till the last minute? Because what do you think is going to happen?
If you want him, go and get him. Pay the money.
Exactly what happened
deal.
is the problem with waiting till the last minute. You think, oh yeah, we'll get him, everything will be fine, and then all of a sudden, Crystal Palace, something happens, it doesn't happen, all of a sudden you haven't got him. And then now he's going in January and saying, well, whoever wants me, I can sign for you. Now he's got the choice.
Yeah.
That's if he wants to go to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there will be a few others. You look at the likes of Man City, like this week, John Stone's coming out saying, yeah, I got a lot of injuries over the last year. Man City could be the ones that say, okay, come and sign for us. We'll wait for you till the summer. No problem. We'll give you the contract. So it's worrying in that sense. But Crystal Palace are now a selling club, and I'm sure they would have said to him, we're going to sell you. We're going to sell you. But we're going to sell you, and what the club say is different to actually what happens. What actually happens is you don't know what the other team are doing. For example, they probably waited for Isak.
Rob, for me as a player now, when this hasn't happened, I want to sign a pre-contract in January to safeguard. It's a long way to go the season, especially playing at centre-back and not picking up a bad injury. So I'm looking at January, and and I'm his agent, I'm saying if Barcelona or Real Madrid come in, right, bang, you sorted in January, sorted pre-contract.
Yeah.
It's a long way to go to the end of the season, because if he picks up an injury, of course, Crystal Palace, it'd be great for Crystal Palace because he's going to have to sign again for Crystal Palace. Yeah. But for him, it's a hell of a gamble to go all the way to the end of the season.
And I think he wants to go as well. That's the thing. He wants to go. I think that's clear.
Wants to push on and go to a bigger club.
Yeah. I mean, he wants to.
There's nothing wrong with that either, is there?
What do you want as a player? If I'm a player and I'm Mark Gay and I'm at Crystal Palace, of course he loves the club, all of that. I think fans underestimate that. Of course he loves and wants to play there, but the level you're playing at. You're not playing Champions League all the time.
Yeah.
You're playing Europa Conference, and you're hoping for a cup run. Yeah. But you're not at Liverpool and you're going to be playing Champions League every week and you're going to be competing in that top 3. Yeah. That's a difference, a way, way different scenario. As a player, I want to be in that situation.
Absolutely.
So why not? Why not?
Absolutely, and I suppose that brings us on to the next point. Big signings. There's been lots of big signings this summer. Who are the big signings for you? Who excites you most? Who do you think is going to make the biggest impact, Carlton?
It's always difficult when you go to a big club like Liverpool, right? Even if you're an established player at the club that you've been at, there's a different level of expectation. Level expectation from the media, level expectation from the supporters, and it's whether you can deal with that. None of those players are English players. So, and I think a lot of the players that come to play in the Premier League do not realise what the Premier League is about. I think we can safely say that Amorim wasn't aware of what the Premier League's about. It is a tough league. If you're playing Burnley, who have just got promoted from the Championship on a Saturday or on a Wednesday night, that's a tough game.
Yeah.
So these players have to get used to the pace of the game. They've got the intensity week in and week out. If you're playing at Barcelona, if you're playing at Real Madrid, that intensity is not Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. No. You've only got certain few clubs that intensity builds up for. But in the Premier League, if you're playing a Burnley, if you're playing a Sunderland, as you've seen now, it is a tough ask. So to get used to that, to get used to the pace of the game, used to the training, used to that intensity every weekend, is going to take time. So for people to come out and say, oh, well, he's a flop, we should get rid of him, it's too early for that. Yeah. It's too early for that.
Who's exciting you then? Who are you looking forward to when they hit top gear? Who do you think is going to be the most exciting?
I like the boy. I can't pronounce his name.
Ekitike.
Yeah. I like him. I like. You know what? I like his movement off the ball. He can come. He can receive it. He can spin in behind. It's a problem. I don't see how he plays with Isak. No. I really don't see how he plays with Isak. But Isak can play off the left.
Yeah. Okay.
Or he can play off the right. But you've got Mo Salah, and Gakpo's having a good start to the season.
I suppose it's interchangeable then, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like it's intense, you're playing all these games. Isak starts in the week, Ekitike at the weekend. Do you know what I mean? And then you've got the opportunity to change it up, I suppose, haven't you? But then would you be happy as a player sharing that role?
I was never happy at rotating. I wanted to play every week, and when you're a striker especially, you live off goals. If you're playing every week, you want to be playing, you want to be scoring goals, and you feed off that. You don't want to be rotated. But obviously, Liverpool this season are going to have a lot of football games. So there will be enough games to go around. And I suppose it will be who's hitting top form to get in there. Isak, as we've said, he's missed pre-season. He's well down on the pace of the game. I suppose the big one is the midfield player they signed for an awful lot of money. But from all I've seen about him, from all I've heard about him, when he comes good, he's going to come good.
Yeah. And what about other clubs, Ernie? Like that Voldermeider at Newcastle looks to be a handy player, young, scored plenty in the 21 Euros. Do you know what I mean? Who are you looking forward to?
He does look decent. Just physically looking at him, he just looks so big. He's just a big presence. But I tell you, there's a couple I like. The one that was just for me, it was a romantic football one, was Eze to Arsenal. It just felt, when you just look at it, the boy grew up an Arsenal supporter.
Released.
And he's coming from Palace, going to Arsenal, he got released when he was younger, bounced a bunch of clubs, played in the EFL, and all of a sudden he gets his big move. Yeah. And that was a really nice one. Because he's also hit top form.
Yes.
He's at his peak. And I like him.
I can't believe other people didn't have a bat for him.
Yeah.
I mean, Newcastle were in for him and wouldn't pay the money, and the same for Gear. I don't get it.
I think from what I hear, on that week before, he was this close to going to Tottenham.
Yes.
So he was almost going to Tottenham, and apparently he's given Mikel Arteta a call and said, "Is there any chance?"
Is that right?
Yeah. So when I heard that, I was like, do you know what? The boy wants one place. He will go to the other one, but he wants one place. And if it's a no, it's a no. He'll go and do it somewhere else. No problem. But he got his big move. He made the right phone call, and it happened for him. But also, he's a good player. When I watch him, I just think like he's so creative. He can score goals. He can literally play anywhere in the front four. So I like him. Isak, I think Isak is unbelievable.
Yeah.
When I look at him, the one Ekitike surprised me, because when I look at him, every time I see him, I just think, wow, like he's got the lot.
Yeah.
Like he's got every little piece. His movement is brilliant. His touch is great. His finishing is brilliant. How he finds space,
creates and scores goals.
And exactly, creates. So I like him. I tell you the other one that maybe we haven't got the sight of yet. We got it on day one against Wolverhampton. Ryan Cherky, who came from Lyon to Man City. He's got injured. He scored in the first game, but he's a player.
Okay.
He's a player. I like him a lot. I think he's going to contribute a lot to Man City when he's fit. He's been injured, but when he's fit, I think he excites me. And he's a great watch as well. I mean, he's got all the tricks. He can score both feet.
Nice.
He's got ability.
Fantastic. And then moving on to the international weekend. So Ramsey and James both missing for Wales. Bellingham, Grealish and Foden left out for England. Was it the right call to leave those three out? Would they be in your squad?
Well, the thing is, right, with Bellingham, he's just coming back off an injury.
Yeah.
So he's not up to full speed yet. Grealish has been outstanding since he's moved to Everton. I think he's... Listen, I spoke to Jack at Craig Shakespeare's funeral, and, you know, he went to Man City, he won the treble, but I still didn't believe it was the right club for him. You know, Jack Grealish has to be allowed to run with the football. And and David Moyes has given me his role in the side, but when they get the ball, he's allowed to go and express himself. If he does that, he's one of the best players in the world.
It's kind of Gaza-esque, isn't it? You try and lock him down, you take away something from him. You can't let him go run free.
Yeah, but, you know, no disrespect to Pep Guardiola, who am I? I mean, he's an unbelievable manager, but he does that with a lot of players. Yeah. Even with Ireland, I don't believe Ireland, I mean, the goals that Ireland's scoring at the moment, I still don't believe Ireland's been used to his full potential. No. When teams are squeezing up to the halfway line, all you need to do is stick a ball over the top, and there's nobody catching him.
No.
Do you know what I mean? But he's playing. A lot of the goals he scores are coming, you know, the ball comes in from the wide areas, right? So Pep does that. Who am I to say, you know, that's the way he wants to play? But Jack's done well. Foden's just come back off an injury, and he's playing well, but he's only just come back. Yeah. So I suppose he's looking at the last result. He's looking at the training camp and the players that were there, and he's gone, well, let's have more of the same. But he can't lose. He can't lose. The more of these players that are going to come back to full fitness. If you look at the players they've got in every position, you know, he's got a problem, Tuchel, because I'm looking at him and saying, what's your excuse going to be if you don't deliver the trophy?
You've got rid of squad.
You've got rid of Gareth Southgate because you've said he's not delivered, but he's took them to semi-finals and finals. So the only way Tuchel can win is he has to win a major trophy.
No pressure.
There's no pressure, but he has the players. You know, the players who are coming into their prime. You know, you look at the midfield. I'd like to see Declan Rice, even at Arsenal. I'd like to see Declan Rice give him a bit more freedom, because he's the only midfield player in the country that's like a Roy Keane. He can do everything. Yeah. But don't pigeonhole him. Don't put him on the left side. Don't put him on the right hand side. Let him drop deep and get the ball. Let him run long and get the ball. Let him dribble with the ball. He's a complete midfield player. But when you pigeonhole him, you know, he still plays well, but I still don't think you're getting the full potential out of him. I think if you play an oldie midfield player and say to Declan, just go and play, I think he could be unbelievable.
The embarrassment of riches that England have got, and then, do you mean, I'm a Welshman, I love my team. We're not sat there looking, going, bloody hell, there's 70 amazing players, it's so difficult to pick them. So when you have Aaron Ramsey, our talisman, and Dan James missing from the squad, that's a big hole to fill.
It is, yeah. I mean, when you look at where Wales are right now, Wales are starting to build this really sharp, tactically brilliant team under Craig Bellamy, and that's that goes into, okay, who's the quality players that knows how to handle the big moments, the big pressure moments. Aaron Ramsey hasn't played for a little while. To be fair, he's got a lot of injuries, and he struggled the last kind of year and a half, but he still wants him in because he pops in with a goal. He makes other people better. Also his experience. But Dan James is one that, in terms of like what Wales want, he's got electric. There's nobody quicker than Dan James. So that electric speed is what Wales want, because they'll pass and pass and pass, and they'll say, go.
Yeah.
Like at the right moment, they'll pick you off and put you through. So that's where Dan James is key in that. So he's missing. So, but I always say this, and when I played, there's always going to be injuries, and when the injuries come, it gives a chance for somebody else to come in. And when that happens, you got your opportunity. And I think that's what I'm interested in this week. Going into the England game, going into the Belgium game, is Wales now. It's like, okay, first of all, who they're going to pick, and then second of all, who's going to take their chance, because it's all there for you. And with Craig involved, he's really been a breath of fresh air. So he hasn't got and a great quote from him this week. I think he said, going into the England game, they've got 1.4 billion worth of talent. We've got 170, 180 million. You, even in a boxing match, you wouldn't put us against each other to fight against each other. So it's a great way to. It is a great way to look at it.
Small nation always punching up above our weight.
But that's what we also love about football, is because
anyone can beat anyone on their day.
Two teams, doesn't matter what's happened, where you are, the prices, the tags, the what's written on a piece of paper.
11 against 11.
Once you go out, it's 11v11. The grass is still green and the lines don't move.
Yeah, but the one fact is they've only won one away game against England in 24 years.
That's a big one.
1977, 1-0.
Yeah, Leighton James.
Yeah, I think so.
Leighton James penalty.
Mark Hughes.
Mark Hughes. 77 was the one in Wembley.
Yeah, when Leighton James scored the penalty.
England refused to play our national anthem, so Yorath and the boys just belted it out a cappella. And this is kind of what we do today, do you know what I mean? So, right, let's stop it there, because we're gonna get into the tactics shortly. So thank you very much for watching part one. We're gonna have a bit of a shuffle around, and part two is gonna be looking tactics. So here we are at the tactics board. Got our whiteboard, got our counters, we've got our football experts. So the big game coming up is England against Wales at Wembley. So as England are the home team, Carlton, we'll let you go first. How are England going to set up for success?
Well, I don't think he's going to change too much, Tuchel. I mean, he's got 3 injuries from the game against the previous game, but I don't think he's going to change. I think he'll set up with a 4. I think he'll set up with a 3 there, and he'll set up. He'll look to try and expose Wales through playing the 2 wide players really wide. I think Rashford and Saka will start. I'd be surprised if they don't. Harry Kane will play in there, and they'll I don't believe too much in me personally. I don't believe too much in worrying about the opposition. I think you play your players in the best positions that you have them in. So I think they'll set up against Wales like this, knowing that Wales are going to sit deep. They're going to sit deep and look to it, England on the counter-attack. So I think this is how, and they may even change England. They might even decide to just go with the 2 in midfield like this and turn up like that, because Wales are going to sit so deep.
So there's going to be space in that midfield, you think, and they'll be able to push one of them a little bit further forward?
Well, I think so. There's no point sitting with 3 midfield players in there like that when Wales are sitting deep. There's no point. You're going to stay with the 2 wide players who will stay there. And so I think, you might even get away with the way that Wales are going to play. You might even get away with 1 holding midfield player, so you can push the 2 midfield players on. Kane, as we know, likes to drop deep. Bellingham's not playing, so we know Bellingham would run on. But they've got Wharton, who will sit in there. He's good. He's good on the football. And like I said, I would like to see them unleash Declan Rice a little bit more and allow him the freedom of the park to go and play. Fantastic.
And I think Wharton's had a great season for Palace last year. He's hit the ground running again. Should he be a starter more regular for England? Is he a key playmaker, you think, for them?
Well, I think he's a terrific player. He's good on the ball. We know the likes of Bellingham are going to come back, that's for sure. I mean, I don't know. He may even start Henderson against Arsenal. We've seen at Brentford, everybody's talking about, he may be too old or whatever. He may even bring Henderson in there for his experience. But it is a friendly, so I'd like to see Wharton start. He's a really good footballer. He controls the ball really, really well. And you know, let's see if we can't get you know, the likes of Declan Rice running forward. I don't know who the other midfield player will be in there yet, because they've picked up a few injuries. That might well be Eze.
Yep.
I'd like to see Eze start for England, because I think he's a terrific player. He opens up the game for them. And if Kane plays there, and say you play Eze there, say you play the two midfield players like this, he's dangerous here.
Yeah.
He's dangerous here, because any time he gets on the half turn, he gets the ball, they're in trouble. You know, you've got Kane, you've got Rashford. Rashford's on fire at the moment.
Yeah.
You've got Saka's just come back into the fold now, who's a terrific player. Wales are going to have plenty of problems on the night. They're going to sit in deep. We know that. So England have got to be patient. But if they get the first goal, you know, they're not. I don't believe they're going to turn Wales over 3, 4, or 5. You know, but I think if they get the first goal, I think they could win the game comfortably.
That's for me. That's where it's going to be. How England set up here. Is the game going to be played in this half, or is the game going to be played in this half?
Yes.
You'd naturally think, yeah, the game's at Wembley, England playing home, naturally they want the ball. It's going to be played more up here. And that's where it's going to be like the chess game.
Yes.
And that's what Craig loved. Craig Bellamy loves that. That's the chess game.
And I
so
think
it'll be interesting to see how, with Carlton's setup, to see how then Wales counter that.
Yeah, and I think if it's a friendly, so you can risk a bit more. If they're playing Wharton deep and then letting Declan Rice and Eze push on, that's going to create problems, because you've got 3 creative players there that can pull a pass, that can make a run. So it'd be interesting to see. So Earnie, how do Wales set up for success? Only the second time ever they would have won at Wembley. If they win this game, how do we win it? Give me some hope.
I tell you the one thing. Number one, I've never been so confident in a Wales team. Yeah, they haven't got the Gareth Bales and Aaron Ramsey, all that, but I believe we now have a real efficient team, and tactically as sharp as any team, because they're given so much. Craig is so good at giving every little detail. So if the game's played in here, for example, if the game's played in here, which it will be, a lot of the time England will kind of go into this kind of scenario where they'll have maybe two left at the back. And if the game's played in here, what do Wales want? First, they want to steal the ball, because what the Wales will do is, if the ball goes out in here, they'll hunt and they'll go in little packs. If they can win it, bang, all of a sudden you're left with 2 at the back. Maybe this guy's out here and maybe you're the 2 at the back. Maybe you got 1 holding midfielder because England want the ball. Then you got 1 holding midfielder, 2 centre backs, and Wales will go bang, get out here, get out there, get in there, and then go support. And they'll go like that, and it'll be a 4v3 at times, because they're waiting to use their speed. That speed on the counter attack, they'll use that. If the game's played in here, this is where I think Wales will want to play. The best chance of Wales winning it won't be they have the ball and the game's played in here. It'll actually be in these areas where they'll want the ball.
Bring England onto them.
Yeah, exactly.
Creates all that space behind them. That's where the players with pace, they like to counter-attack. The Brennan Johnsons, that's why they've been great for Dan James. Aaron Ramsey picking a pass. Unfortunately, we haven't got those.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's that counter-attacking football, getting England centre-halves, turning and running back towards their goal, I suppose.
They're gonna want England, and you'll see this with Wales. They won't be shy. It won't be, oh, we're at Wembley and we just don't have the ball. The demand is you need to get the ball. The reason is they'll play with the goalkeeper. They'll play through the back. It'll look like a 4, but it's actually they've got the freedom to start popping into little spaces into here, and they'll play around in small little triangles. And it's all about, can they make that final pass? If they break this line and somebody receives in here, can you break through? Can you break away fast?
So it's getting it with your back to the opposition goal, playing the little triangles and waiting for that key moment where somebody runs, somebody with a vision, pops it over, all of a sudden everyone's running that way.
Exactly.
And England might be in trouble.
But the biggest thing will be about breaking lines, because what they want to do is, yes, England, come and press us, no problem. Because this is what Craig is built this team to be about. they want you to come and press. Come and press, no problem. Because what they'll do is they'll pop into these little triangles. Somebody will pop it straight through the middle of. Player goes in here. They'll pop it through in here. Once he breaks this line, then what happens? He needs to come and press. He needs to come and press, and they'll break this line as well. Because what they'll do is the Harry Wilsons is very smart. He'll just go and say, "Go on in, you two go and press him. I'll just stay in here." And they want to break this line, and then it's the speed. David Brooks is sharp, quick. Dan James is missing, but you have Brennan Johnson, speed. Sorba Thomas, speed. The big man, Kiefer Moore, he'll be waiting for that final cross. So it'll be just about breaking those first two lines and then go. If not, if England want to go like this, then they'll just go direct and they'll just go bang, put him through, straight through. And so they're quite clever with it, but that's why I'm interested to see if England do press, because to be fair, this is a £1.4 billion team. So they're brilliant at pressing. So if they steal it, we're in trouble. But if they don't, and Wales punch through those lines, they're away. And that's what they play off. So that's what is going to be interesting in this game. If Wales are going to win, it's going to be breakthrough and go and take your chance. And the thing about you playing at Wembley, you've got to take your chance. You've got to be calm in the moment and take your chance. But that's where I see Wales, because it'll literally be a lot of freedom, especially fullbacks. What you'll see from the fullbacks is you'll see the almost two centre backs, and they'll kind of stay. But what you'll see from some of the fullbacks, they'll roll inside and go into midfield and become midfielders, and both of them will do it.
And overload that midfield.
Exactly. It's all about numerical advantage.
The problem Wales have, though, in this game, is that England have nearly qualified. Right? They've already got 8 points on the board, right? So they've nearly qualified. The players who are going to be on view, right, know that they're like Grealish, Foden, Bellingham, they're all starting to come back now, all starting to form. So this is a big, big game for the English players to stake their chance to go to the major tournaments.
It's not a meaningless friendly.
It's not a meaningless friendly.
There's no such thing as friendly, especially against England.
No such thing. It's no such thing. So I expect England to have a lot of the football. I really do. I expect them to have a lot of the football. If they score the first goal, I can only see one team going on to win the game. Wales have to be patient, try and lull and bring England onto them and try and hit them on their counter-attack. But I think it's going to be a problem for Wales, because I think England are going to come out, have a lot of the ball. They get it into the wide areas with the likes of Rashford, with the likes of Saka. I think it's going to be a major, major problem for them. They're going to be very, very deep.
And they're going to be busy.
It's going to be a tough game for them. It's going to be a tough game. You know, it's time now. England can't afford to put in any lacklustre performances. You know, you're going into a major tournament where the onus, you know, is now we want to go and win a major tournament. The players we've got, I'm looking at the players, you know, I was just going through today. When you look at the players we've got in each position, if you're looking at wide positions, you've got Gordon and Grealish and Rashford on one side. Up front, you've got Kane, Watkins, Delap, midfield, Rice, Roger, Eze. You've got Wharton, you've got Manu, you've got Foden, Gibbs-White, you've got Palmer, you've got Bowen, you've got Saka. At the back, you've got Trent Alexander, Spence, Liverento. At centre-back, Stones, Konsa, Guy, Byrne. At left-back, Skelly, Shaw and all. You're looking at that squad and you're saying, hang on a minute, we've got to be challenging for that major prize.
An embarrassment of riches.
So now, those players who are going to walk out, even though it's a friendly, this is a massive game against Wales, and they've got to go and perform. So, you know, I know that the Welsh will be looking, as they have done under Craig. I think they've only lost, 2 or 3 games under Craig?
Two out of 12 games, yeah.
2 out of 12 games, so they're going to be very difficult to break down. The first goal becomes all important in this game.
Fantastic. So then moving on to the next game, England are going to be playing against Latvia. That is a qualifier. There are points on the line. Are they going to change the team up? Are they going to stick with the same team? They're going to play the same sort of football? How do you see England taking on Latvia?
Nothing much changes now. I think it's getting pretty much down to Tuchel coming up with his squad, coming up with his team that he wants to play. As you've seen now with the squads that he's picking, he's picking less and less to make it more tighter squad, make the training camps more compact, that people are understanding. So nothing much is going to change unless we pick up any injuries. Nothing much will change between the Wales game going into the Latvia, and Latvia will play pretty much similar to that. For me, I think the Welsh game is a more difficult game than the Latvia game, although the Latvia game is a qualifier.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be way more difficult because, I mean, England beat Latvia. Was it 3-0, I think, earlier? So the Wales game especially is going to be the one. You know, I think they'll win against Latvia. And then I think the tricky part with Wales will want to win. It's England. Of course they want to win. And they'll go full out. The problem Wales have is Wales play Belgium.
Yes.
Now that's the big game.
Yes.
England is big, but Belgium to go to the World Cup is way bigger.
Yeah.
So that's where I think you might see a few new faces with Craig, because even in the England game, and when I talk about how they will play, they'll play exactly the same. So whoever comes in plays exactly the same. So that doesn't matter, but. You might see a young 18-year-old at right back instead of, because the starter would be playing in the Belgium game. So that's where the tricky part is for Wales.
Yeah, and for Wales, we're Belgium's bogey team. We've beaten them a couple of times. They don't like playing us, but it's similar to England, isn't it? They've got quite a few good players in different positions. They've got a wealth of talent in their side. And we've got to make sure that we're set up and we're playing our best football. We're keeping it tight if we've got a chance of beating Belgium and getting to the next tournament. So anything else that Wales are going to do different against Belgium, do you think? Who do you start? Do you go with Kiefer Moore up front against Belgium? Do you mean someone's going to win it in the air, or do you go with someone that maybe is going to look to run in behind?
Well, Kiefer Moore was on the bench in the first game.
Yeah.
And that was on purpose. He had the option to pick him, but he didn't pick him. Because where Craig sees the likes of Belgium and England is you can play the game there or you can play it here. But our biggest asset is when we break away with 3 and 4.
With pace.
With pace. So when we do that, can we get 4v3? Instead of trying to break, a full 10-a-side, a team of 10 behind the ball. So that's a lot harder. So that's where you'll like that. And even against Belgium, you'll be the same. And what you want to do is, and Belgium will do a little bit similar actually, and he picked the England game on purpose because they'll play a little bit similar tactically to Belgium in terms of how many numbers go forward, when they can pick people off on the counter-attack. But the biggest thing with the Belgium game is how they win is, in the first game, Belgium had a lot of the ball. They went 3-0 up. Wales just lost 4-3. Came back 3-3. They lose it in the last 10 minutes. And I think one of the burning things from that Wales performance was when you come to Wales, you're not having the ball the same. And I think that you've seen that in every game. Doesn't matter who you play. Croatia came, and you just feel like when you come to Wales, you're not having the ball. So I think that's going to be the biggest difference is when you get the ball, you use it. You don't give it back to them cheaply. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing. And then it's going to be, I think the key for Moore's play. Harry Wilson is now the key player.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's for Wales. He's become the key. Creatively, everything goes through him. He always creates 3 or 4 chances for everybody in every game. He just goes up to a different level. I think the thing is, you'll probably play Brooks. Does he play with Brooks? Does he play with Brennan Johnson? Or does he go with Jordan James in here? Because you've got the likes of Kevin De Bruyne in the midfield. You've got Tielemans in midfield. So they're very, very good.
But they lack pace.
Yeah.
They lack pace.
And that's where I think that's going to be key. Because if he goes, I'll play with an extra midfielder, then it's bang, 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 sharp, 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 go.
Yeah.
Let Brennan Johnson go. Let David Brooks go. Let Harry Wilson go. So I think that's where I'm actually torn, because if he might go with Kiefer Moore as a big target man, or he might go with all three of them speed, which he did in the first game. And
I think he will go with pace.
Yeah.
I think he will go with pace. Kiefer gives him a big option. You know, he comes off the bench, he holds the ball up well, he's got an eye for a goal. But if you sat deep and you're going to, you know, look to counter-attack, Kiefer's not your man, really. So I think he'll go with the pace to start off with against Belgium, because Wales need a result.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting, you talked about where Craig wants to play the game. I listened to his high performance podcast the other day, and he talked about creating scenarios. So he wants to be 4 against 3 at that end of the pitch. So what they do then this end of the pitch is to create those scenarios. Let's play the ball around here, let's draw them in. Then when we know we got 4 against 3 up there, bang, pop it goes. And you've created that scenario rather than hitting it up there and hoping you got a 4 on 3. You create the 4 on 3 by just lulling them into a false sense of security, pulling them in, and then boom.
That's the thing that he'll do. He'll want us to have the ball here, but the reason he wants us to have the ball here will all be about how can we release him.
Yeah.
How can we release him?
Yeah.
How can we create a chance for Harry Wilson to be turned in an area where he can thread a ball through? He can put somebody through, or he's actually all the way up here. And then he's coming in and we're threading him the ball and we're saying, go shoot. You know, that's where he wants to create scenarios and little small spaces where he says, where's Harry Wilson best? Shooting the edge of the box. Let's create a chance to get him the ball in that area. What's Kiefer Moore want? He wants crosses. Well, when you get in this area, let's get him the ball so he crosses for him. So he loves those little details.
It's a chess match, isn't it? It's like
Honestly,
you give away your pawn to create an opportunity somewhere else, and that's exactly how he's looking at it, a couple of steps ahead.
Yeah, but I played with Bellas at Coventry, and he's very positive.
Yes.
He's got a very positive mindset. He had unbelievable belief in his own ability to be able to do things on the football pitch from a young age when he came to Coventry. So I think he's trying to give that belief to Welsh players that, you know, first of all he works hard, first of all he was very fit, and then he believed in his own ability, and that's what he's trying to bring to this Welsh team, and they've been doing really well.
Absolutely, and fingers crossed we can get to another tournament. Fingers crossed. Thank you, gents. That's been fantastic. So hope you guys at home have enjoyed that kind of deep dive into some of the tactics there. So join us back at the table now, where we're going to sit down, we're going to talk scores, and we're also going to have a little bit of a deep dive into the debuts for their countries of these two gentlemen. So there we go. We've dived into the tactics and picked these gentlemen's brains and had a little look at some of those games. So let's just come up with a couple of predictions for scores then. So England, Wales, what's the score going to be?
3-0 to England.
Ernie?
1-1.
1-1.
Yeah. I think Wales can win it, but I'm just worried that they might not have enough, and also thinking about the Belgium game. But I think a 1-1. I think they might come away and surprise a few people with a draw.
I'm going to go for 1-0 Wales, just because.
You're Welsh.
Yeah, I'm Welsh, and I'll get lynched if I don't. And then England, Latvia, what's the score going to be?
5-0.
I'm going to go 4-0.
2-0, and everybody's frustrated again.
Okay.
A win's a win.
2-0 England.
Okay, and then Wales, Belgium?
You know, Bellas is my mate, so I'd like to see Wales get a result, but Belgium have some really, really good players. I think it's a tough ask. And or not, I think Belgium will win. But for Bellas, I'm hoping that Wales might be able to do it. So I'm going for Belgium to win 2-0.
You sucked me in then. I thought you were going to go for Wales. Ernie, what do you think?
Do you know what? I actually really think Wales will win this one. They were so close in Belgium, and they just showed heart, spirit, got 3 goals in Belgium. I think they'll win 2-1.
I'm going to go for 1-0 Wales again. So
I hope so. for Bellas. He's a good lad.
Absolutely. So thank you, gents. So we'll have a little look next time that we do a podcast and see who won, see who got closest, see what the scores were. So in this final section, we're going to take a little bit of a trip down memory lane. We're going to be chatting to you boys about your debut. So Carlton, your debut against Russia in Moscow. Yeah. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's a weird one, really. I got a phone call. I was in the pub on a Sunday afternoon, had a few beers. Graham Taylor had phoned. I actually put the phone down 3 times because I thought it was one of the lads taking a piss.
As you do.
As you do. Yeah.
You're like,
as you're in the pub.
Yeah, why is he going to be calling me on a Sunday?
Exactly, yeah, this is Graham Taylor.
Yeah.
And then he said to me, like, listen, Carlton, I know you've got the semi-final on the Sunday against Sheffield United, but you're definitely going to play on the Wednesday against Russia. So Trevor Francis and I had a massive fallout over it because he didn't want me to go and play, because it was the biggest game in the club's history, obviously the semi-final in the FA Cup at Wembley. But he agreed in the end to let me go and play. I actually picked up an injury. We drew 2-2. I played really well. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the game. I think Gazza scored the equaliser, and it was a fantastic. Occasion. When you get into football, of course you want to do the best you can do, and to be picked for your country is the highest that you can achieve. And I played, under 21s, England B, and it was a natural progression to get to play for the national team. So to make my debut, away in Russia, and we got a good draw in Russia. It was unbelievable. So
can you remember the starting 11 that night? No.
That was a long time ago.
No, I can't remember the starting 11. I know Gary Lineker played, I know Gazza played, Tony Daly played, and that's about it really. I can't remember a lot about the starting lineup.
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. And Earnie, your debut?
Yeah, don't ask me starting lineup either. My debut was 2002. And interestingly enough, we played Argentina before. And I grew up watching Germany, watching Argentina. Some of my favorite players, the South American players, especially as a striker, you're watching, and they're the exciting ones, scoring goals. And so I missed out the Argentina game, and the next game was Germany. End of the season in May, and I was injured for the Argentina game, came back for the Germany game, and that was my first game, and I didn't even know I was playing. Mark Hughes was manager, and we were doing training, and generally 1 or 2 days before the game you start to kind of see the kind of the team that you think is going to play. And he gives me the bib. I'm in, and I'm like, "Oh, am I going to be playing?" So, yes, it looked as if I was going to be playing, but I almost missed the game actually. So it was Germany. We played at home in Millennium Stadium at the time, now the Principality Stadium. But we win 1-0, and it was the perfect game. It was the perfect game. I make my debut. I score the winner. We beat Germany 1-0. And it's anytime you beat one of the big teams in world football, it's history. And it was the craziest day of literally making history in your first game. So that was the most special day. I mean, probably still to this day, the most memorable game, the most historical game I've probably played in. And for me, as a striker, you want to score, and if you could score the winner, that was the perfect day.
Doesn't get any better than that.
No, and it was an incredible game because I was there that day. It was a friendly, a mate of mine was like, tickets are cheap, should we go down? Yeah, go on, may as well. Do you know what I mean? We're not going to win, but we'll watch. I remember being sat in the stand and thinking, bloody hell, we got a chance here. And you had a couple and a half chances before you scored, and after you scored, you might have even scored a hat-trick on another day.
Yeah, and that was the thing, because who we were facing, I remember we were facing Oliver Kahn. At the time, Oliver Kahn's the best goalkeeper in the world.
And just for context, Germany went to the final of the World Cup a month later. The final.
Yeah, and it was one of the weirdest things, because I was watching the World Cup and
skinned him.
One of the stats was I was the last player I think it was up until maybe the quarterfinals-ish, something like that. I was the last player to score against them because they kept getting clean sheets after clean sheets. So obviously scoring was even more important because at the time they got the best goalkeeper in the world, keeping clean sheets, and you've scored against them. So it was, it was amazing, of course.
Absolutely incredible. And then just to wrap up before we go, we can't close the podcast without asking you, what's going on with John Terry?
Listen, I don't know. Funny enough, I saw John at Craig Shakespeare's funeral. I don't know really what's gone on. I was asked a question while I was working for TalkSport. There was some debate going on between Rio Ferdinand and John Terry. And I'm not, siding with Rio because he's black or anything like to do with that. I was asked a question of who do you think is the better defender? I said Rio Ferdinand all day long. That's my opinion. I know there's been a bit of issue between Rio and John, but generally I was asked a question and I answered it. I think what happened was that I did an interview where I had said that I played in a game and we isolated him. I actually was wrong in that, which I apologise for, but it must have been a conversation that I had with somebody who talked about when they isolated John Terry. When they were talking about it, John Terry has had a fantastic career. He's been a very good player for Chelsea and for the other clubs he's played for. Got no issue about that, but people ask, don't they? They have the debate with Ronaldo, Messi, Pele, Maradona. All of these things go on, and it was just if people ask me now, and they said they went into about naming my top 5 Premier League central defenders. I didn't have John Terry in there, and it's not personal again. It's just my opinion. And so, if John Terry wants to come out and have a go at me and say, oh, well, I wasn't a great player, that's not what they asked. The question I was asked and the debate that was going on was originally was between John Terry and Rio Ferdinand. And, the debate will always be, some people will go for John Terry, some people go Rio Ferdinand. I'm going from a footballing point of what I've seen about the two players. And it's not even close in my opinion. No disrespect for John Terry. Rio Ferdinand at his best, was sublime. Do you know what I mean? When you're talking about an international defender for me has to deal with one-on-ones. I think John Terry struggled at one-on-ones, and that's my opinion.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's why he had Carvalho next to him.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Rio was incredible.
Incredible player. So thank you, gents. That's been absolutely brilliant. So thank you all at home for watching or listening on whatever platform you've chose to join us. And we thank you for tuning in, and we hope that you give us a like, a comment, a share, subscribe. If you can help us to reach an audience and we can grow this podcast, that'd be fantastic. So likes, comments, subscriptions and shares are all good with us. So thank you very much. And just to let you know, we're looking to do a couple of episodes of this podcast, and we'd like to do a live episode at some point as well. So what we'd like to do is get a live audience in there. You can ask some questions to the boys, you can be a part of it, and we think that'll be fantastic. So what we'd like to do is we'd like to offer to 10 subscribers 2 free tickets to come along to that event. So 10 of them get 2 tickets each. So you can come along, be a part of it, come and join us. We'll have a fantastic time. So again, thank you very much for watching. And we look forward to speaking to you in the not so distant future for episode 2.